welcome to Stamping with Crafty Klock. I'm Judy Klock, and I am delighted that you are joining us tonight. If you are watching in replay, please go ahead and put hashtag replay. If you're watching in live, go ahead and leave a comment or give me a heart or a thumbs up, because at the end of this session on Sunday, I'm going to draw a name to win the cards that we're going to make tonight, and you're going to get 2 handmade cards. I've been doing that for a while. I kind of stopped around the holidays because it just got crazy busy. But I'm back, and I'm glad that you could join me tonight on my Stampin' with Crafty Klock Facebook page. So let's turn the camera around and get started. All right, here we go. So, pardon my messy desk. So on Tuesday, if you caught my live at lunch, I talked about the beautiful On the Horizon Designer Series paper, and it's really a stunning paper, and we'll go through it again, but that's actually part of a suite. So tonight I wanted to show you the entire suite. So the suite includes a stamp set, the On the Horizon stamp set, the Horizon dies, these adorable little pebble embellishments. They come in 3 different colors. I believe it's cinnamon cider, dark gray, and light gray. And then you get 2 ribbons, the petal pink and the misty moonlight. I think there's like 5 yards of each on the 2 spools. And it's about, I think it's like 1/4 of an inch wide. It's 1/8 of an inch wide. Okay, so it's 1/8 of an inch wide. So that's the suite of products. And of course, the gorgeous Designer Series paper. But let me take a look and show you what the dies will cut. So there's a couple of different dies. So there's the mountain. Well, there's this little like vignette of houses, like everything's supposed to be off in the horizon, so everything is going to be smaller. Hey Patricia, thank you for coming. I'm like so excited to be here tonight. Hi Susan, thanks for joining. So you've got these little 3 houses or bungalows, beach bungalows, cabanas, whatever you want to call them. You've got some trees, you've got some seagrass, the gates. I don't know about you, but growing up we would go down to Jones Beach in New York all the time, and walking out to the dunes, they always had these like gates or barriers, like fences along, I guess, to kind of prevent some of the erosion. There was always seagrass growing along there. Then this is one, this cuts out one of the stamped images. This is the only one that actually cuts out a stamped image. All of these are standalone. Well, there is a seagrass stamped image, but you wouldn't necessarily cut that out with the die. And then you've got, like, these could be mountains. I'm going to use them for the sand dunes and one of the cards you're making. And then you've got the mountains. They're 2 steps. So there's the solid mountain, then there's the outline. So if you can see here, I made it like a snow-capped mountain range. And the colors that go with this are Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, Pale, Fresh Freesia, Garden Green, Misty Moonlight, Old Olive, Pale Papaya, Petal Pink, and Soft Succulent. So I think you've got a really good range of colors, and then you've got these beautiful dies that go with it. Let's take a look at the stamp set. You've got some images, the trees off in the horizon, a couple of sentiments. This stamp's like a wood block. I don't know if you could see that on the die cut, but it's got like a, kind of looks like a wood plank almost. Again, there's that seagrass I was talking about, but the die doesn't really match up with that. And then you've got these kind of birds in flight. So really pretty stamp set. So let's go ahead and show you what the Designer Series paper looks like. This, I think, is just such pretty paper. And I love it when the paper is so pretty that it actually does all of the work for you. Just look at these gorgeous papers. Now, these were actually made from, we had Stampin' Up! Artisans that actually watercolor painted these different scenes. And then they took those watercolors and they made prints from those watercolors. But just look at how gorgeous these are. Okay, and as always, our paper is double-sided. So there are 12 different designs. So you get 4 each of the 12 designs for a total of 48 6x6 sheets. Blackberry Bliss is still like one of my all-time favorite colors. I have many, but that definitely is one of them. Look, I love this one. Look at how pretty that is. You could almost just frame that by itself. It's so gorgeous. All right, so that's the paper. Now, if you joined me on Tuesday, we made a couple of different cards. And let me just recap those, because if you place an order on my website of $25 or more, I'm going to send you the cardstock, not the designer series paper or the embellishments, but the cardstock to go ahead and recreate these cards at home. So this was cut from one 6x6 piece of paper. We cut it down into 3x3 squares, and we made a total of 4 different cards. And all I did was just stamp some birds on them. I could have put trees on there. I was kind of making this be more like clouds. And then, you know, add some sentiments, and you've got 4 cards, quick and easy. This is another one we did. We just cut down 1 sheet of that designer series paper. Again, just added some birds in flight. We added a little bit of our linen thread. And how great would that be for a masculine birthday card? I think that would be really actually pretty good for a masculine birthday card. So today we're going to kind of follow along. Now that we've kind of introduced all the elements of our suite, we're going to get started. And our first card is really always going to be a simple stamping card. This is nothing more than stamps, inks, and paper. Now I did add a ribbon here. I just felt it needed a little bit of something. But I cut, this is 1 sheet of 6x6 paper. I cut it down to 3x4. All right, so that's all I did. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp. There's our pine wood plank. And then we're going to go ahead and just stamp a little sentiment over that. You, instead of putting relax, enjoy your day, again, you could make this with, you know, a birthday card, stamp a birthday greeting in there, whatever you need. And this is from the Flowering Fields suite. This is Evening Evergreen and White, like window pane ribbon. I just thought it looked really pretty with this. I could have gone with the petal pink, but I just really like, I've been dying to use this ribbon, so I wanted to use it. Hey, Susan, how are you tonight? And then our next one, we're going to get really stepped up. I was trying to kind of recreate a kind of like a beachy, as I remember when I was walking down to the beach at Jones Beach up in New York. You know, we kind of had, it was like 14 miles from the parking lot to the beach. I'm sure it wasn't that much. It just seemed like that much because it was always hot. But we always had like the fences there that would kind of prevent the erosion, and the seagrass and the sand and then the water. So this is just a real, it's kind of a simple card. There's not a lot to it, but I've added the die cuts. We've added the embellishments. We've added the ribbon. Then I've gone ahead and I've just stamped a little bit of that seagrass on the inside. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start, of course, with our simple stamping card. And then on the inside, so we have a piece of our Evening Evergreen. That's 8.5 by 4.5. I do that all the time. It is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I need to slow it down. My New York is coming out with the quick speaking. Then I have a piece of our basic white for the inside that is 4 by 5.25. And I'm going to stamp on the inside. I'm going to use early espresso, and I'm going to stamp kind of like that. I'm going to call them like pine wood planks, for lack of a better word. I don't really know what they are, but they do look like planks to me. So I'm just going to stamp the planks in our early espresso. I can't say it. Ay, ay, ay. And then I'm going to come back in with some Evening Evergreen, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment right over that. So you don't always have to just stamp a plain sentiment. You can actually stamp it right over our pine wood planks, or our planks. All right. Now don't forget, if you are just joining us, let me know that you're here. Give me a hello, a thumbs up, a heart, something, because I will be doing a drawing for somebody to win these cards. I usually do it on Sunday. I give people a couple of days to catch up because I know everybody's busy. We're gearing up for some snow, and the forecasts here in Virginia are literally all over the place. I've heard anywhere from 3 to 24 inches. So that's quite the range. So I don't know what we're going to get. I'm going to guess somewhere between maybe the 8 to 10 range. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So then I have a piece of soft succulent that is 4.25 by 3.25. And I have the other half of this paper that is 3 by 4. So what I did was I cut like an inch off the top and an inch off the bottom to kind of kind of keep it the same. Because I was debating, should I cut it off the top? Should I cut it off the bottom? So I said, I'll do an inch from each side. All right, so on this, we're going to stamp. We're going to take out our evening evergreen, and we're going to stamp our trees. And again, remember, these are supposed to be looking off in the horizon, so they're going to seem kind of far away. All right. And then I wanted to stamp some birds, but I didn't want all of them. There are like 7 birds on this one stamp, but I only wanted like 4 of them. So I took some washi tape. I know we all have washi tape laying around somewhere. So I'm just going to cover these up. Now, do not forget to remove the washi tape before you stamp. I have done that more times than I can count. Maureen, do you really think we're going to be snowed in? I don't know. I don't know. Forecasting is like the only job where you can like totally be wrong the majority of the time and not get fired. All right, so see how I've gotten that ink there? I don't want that on my card. So I'm going to take off my washi tape. Now, I've only got those 4 inked. Those 3 are not inked. I'm just going to stamp my birds. See, I don't know. I just thought the 7 was too much. So I just wanted to get a lesser amount. All right. So let's go ahead and add this to our, it actually helps if you take the cover off of the tape. Let's add this to our soft succulent. And again, if you place an order of $25 or more by Monday the 17th on my website, and I'll put the link in later, I will send you all of the cardstock to make these cards, as well as the written tutorial. So I'll be working on the tutorial this weekend. I just finished the one for my Sweet Conversations class, so I'll be mailing that out to the people that bought that class this weekend. I just gotta go back and check for any spelling errors. All right, so now I'm going to take a piece of our evening evergreen ribbon. I'm actually going to use my water bottle there for a minute to kind of hold it down. Use whatever you got handy to help you hold your stuff down. And I'm just going to tie this in a bow. Okay. I love my little bows. This ribbon to me is just so pretty. I couldn't wait to use it. And I know it's really not part of this suite, but I didn't care. I thought this was the prettiest ribbon. Some of our ribbon I don't really like. We have that new white frayed ribbon. It's so big. I'm not a fan. I don't like ribbons that are too wide or that are don't tie nicely. So that white frayed ribbon, I'm not a fan. I believe it's on back order now, so you can't even get it. But I have some, and I'm not really feeling it. Well, I've used it in one project, and I didn't really like it, so I'm not going to use it anymore. All right, let's go ahead and trim this up. Put that on an angle. Ooh, these aren't my good scissors. Okay. You always have a good scissor and a bad scissor. All right, then we're just going to go ahead and put that right there. And that will be our first card done. This is just really simple stamping. We've only done stamps, inks, and paper. We did add a little bit of ribbon, but you could do this card without adding the ribbon. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and add a sentiment to the front, or add some bling, or add some wink of Stella, you can obviously do that. It's, it's your card. You can go ahead. But for the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to keep it simple. Now, if you don't like the way this ribbon kind of, moves around, you can take a few glue dots and just like put the glue dots down, and that will help stabilize the ribbon. So let me just show you. I thought I had some, there's one. Sometimes I can't see them. Okay, so there we go. We're really going to get it, huh, Maureen? I don't know. Time will tell. It's supposed to start like Sunday night. And they said driving on Sunday is going to be really bad. Okay, so there is our first card done. So we've got that one done, and you can put that one away. All right. let's move on to card number 2. And now this one is the more advanced card. So again, I have here a piece of Misty Moonlight, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of our basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. And before I put it down, I want to go ahead and stamp this seagrass in there. So I'm taking the old olive because that's what color my die cut is. I took the old olive and did that seagrass die cut. So I'm just going to do that. And I always say stamp, then stick. Because if I had made a mistake, I could easily flip this over and then, adhere the bad side down and no one would be the wiser. But if you've already stuck it down and then you stamp it and you make a mistake, it is much harder, especially on the inside, to kind of come back from an error. On the outside, you can, cover it up with a ribbon or a gem or something. But on the inside, it's a little bit harder to fix a mistake. So stamp, then stick. All right, now I have a piece of, and again, I used one piece of our paper. I cut it to 3 by 5. And because this is going to be covered up, and I kind of wanted that blue piece, I just went ahead and I took this piece right out of the middle. Because once we lay this piece over it, you're never going to know that that piece was out of the middle. So try not to, especially when it's gorgeous paper like this, you don't really want to waste it. So try to use all of your paper to the best of your ability. Now this I'm just going to kind of stick on here. It doesn't really matter which way I do it. I'm just going to put it at a little bit of an angle, not a real big angle, just a little bit of an angle. Okay. Now let's go ahead and start layering up our paper here. So I have this piece here. That's going to be like my ocean or my sea. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. All right. Put that there. Now I have my, what I'm calling my sand dune. This is obviously wider than my paper. That's okay. I'm going to put it down and then I'm going to just kind of trim the edges. So I'm not really worried that it's so wide because I'm just going to trim that up. So I'm going to put that down. And then I'm just going to take my paper snips and we're going to go snip, snip. All right. Now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to add my seagrass. Now I have here, I can't find my little silicone sheet, so I'm going to use my big silicone sheet. And I'm out of my liquid glue, so I found this old glue pen. We're just going to, and the silicone sheet just basically helps the paper from sticking to it. All right, let me punch this out. And of course now I've got glue all over my fingers. Let me move this out of the way. Let's put this back here. And I'm just going to kind of put my seagrass down here. Okay. All right. Now, the fence actually has 2 parts, but because I thought it was like a little too wide, so I'm just not going to use that other half. I'll save that for another project. I'm just going to put this half of the fence on. Same thing. I'm just going to add some of this glue pen to the back. If I had really thought ahead of time, I would have added our adhesive sheets. But as usual, I was rushing at the last minute to get these designs done. So what can I tell you? Sometimes the best laid plans. The reason why I had no time, I don't know what I did to my shoulder. I racked it up somehow and I have to go to physical therapy to kind of get it back to where it should be. So my afternoon was spent at PT. It feels a little bit better, but man, it hurts when I'm there. All right, so then I wanted to add some ribbon. Oh, well, let me add the Thinking of You first. I'm going to take our Misty Moonlight and I'm going to stamp Thinking of You. Okay. Oh. I can hear all the puppies around upstairs kind of shuffling around. Thinking of You. All right. So again, these designs really are kind of simple. They're not overly ornate, but we do have a lot of those die cuts in here. And I want to lay down some tracks of adhesive because I'm just going to take my blue ribbon, and I'm just going to kind of lay it down. I don't know if there's a better way to do it, but that's kind of how I do it. And then just like that. Okay. I'm going to cut this. Okay, I took out my big scissor because for some reason, I don't know where my good little paper snips went. All right, then I'm going to add some dimensionals. And the nicest thing about the snowstorms now is that I don't have to go to work since I work from home. So it can snow as much as it wants and I don't have to deal with it anymore. So I'm very excited about that. Anybody else excited about the snow? Thanks, Maureen. And thanks for sharing, Patricia. I appreciate that. If you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and do subscribe to Crafty Klock. The more subscribers I get, the more it'll be seen by other people. So we're just going to go ahead and add that right there. And then we're going to go ahead and add some of these little pebbles. I'm going to add one of each. I'm going to add a cinnamon cider. We'll add a light gray. Put the dark gray over here, and then we'll put a light gray over here. And there you have it. That is the rest of the New Horizon suite. So I would encourage you that if you haven't taken a look at this suite yet, you know, really give it another thought because it's very versatile. I think that designer series paper by itself is just fabulous. You can make so many wonderful cards with just the paper. But again, if you place a qualifying order by Monday the 17th on my website, and I'll put the link back there, I will send you the cardstock and the tutorial to make. You're actually going to be making 7 cards because you can make 4 from this first sheet. All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'll see you on Tuesday for my live at lunch at 12 o'clock. Bye.